So by that, being some minutes late, but I would like to welcome Håkan Lundström and Mats Pettersson from Sensative. Be most welcome, and we are looking forward to your presentation, and the floor is yours. So I stop sharing here.
Okay, Mats Pettersson, I'm one of the co-founders and the CTO in Sensative, and I immediately see a copy-paste error on this slide. Hopefully everyone can live with that, because this slide was done initially for the VGR tender, as you can see. Sorry for that. Anyway, Sensative. Who is Sensative? Starting with that, there was a lot of questions. By the way, do I need to speak English, or is Swedish okay? The one requesting English.
I think it's good if you can have it in English, because we have English participants, and also there are English people on. Since we are a Nordic group, we have English-speaking people that might want to take part of the presentation afterwards as well. So if you can stick to English, that's appreciated. Thank you.
Fine. Anyway, Sensative was founded 2013. We launched our platform 2018 in the first minimum viable product. Yggio 3 was launched 2020 in practice, which is our real fireware compliant platform. We were very surprised and very happy to be awarded by Frost & Sullivan, the large business intelligence group, as Europe's most innovative IoT company in 2021. And we basically got the prize for Yggio and how Yggio is returning data ownership to the customer, which Frost & Sullivan saw as a real important differentiator between what we do and compared to all other platforms. Our vision in Swedish. Most of the presentation is in Swedish, but we talk English. Our vision is a cohesive and sustainable society driven by data. And our mission, obviously, then is to make sure that our customer gets a tool to digitize their operations, their properties, and become data-driven. And Sensative, what we do, starting with what we do to the customers, we make sure that customers really can take the effect of that digitalization without lock-in effects, and with both vendor lock-in and without technology lock-in, and taking full ownership of that data and access to devices, and making sure that that can really be utilized. Our customers is basically city operations and city properties and infrastructure. So the municipality, all buildings, real estate owners, energy companies, energy distributors, actually, water operators, and the transport sector are our main customers. And our portfolio consists of both sensors, trackers, and the platform, and to some extent also vertical services on top of the platform. And we develop our things ourselves, both the sensors, sensitive sensors are developed by Sensative. Our platform is 100% developed by us or open source. So there's no American IT platform or anything else in the platform. And the team, we are located in Lund, in the same buildings actually as I used to. Both me and Håkan used to work in when we worked for Ericsson, Sony Ericsson, and Sony Mobile, developing mobile phones. We're about 30 people. Half of them have the background from mobile phone development, meaning that we are really good at doing network stuff, whether that is IoT or mobile phones, doesn't really matter. Wireless devices, super small, super power efficient, but we're also good at doing cloud services. I started up the cloud service development in Sony Ericsson already 2003. We didn't know that it was called cloud services, and so we called it end-to-end services. Our business then, as I told you before, it's sensors, it's a platform, and services. And we are a very collaborative company, probably because of our our background in Ericsson, where Ericsson used to have terminals and the switch. We also have terminals and the switch. Our switch is the data switch, and our terminals are sensors. And as Ericsson used to collaborate with Nokia and Motorola, we collaborate a lot, both with other IoT platform and service providers, where we sell our sensors, and we are in strong cooperation with them. And with our platform service, we use sensors and actuators from all our sensor competitors as well. So really knowing how to both compete and collaborate with partners. We have multiple channels and partners to the market. And as I said before, our market is the livable cities, making sure that the cities are good to live in, decreasing carbon dioxide, making it more efficient and enabling more services. Main drivers, as everyone else, sustainability reporting, managing energy, decreasing water waste, decreasing CO2, optimize for revenue, and of course, asset and resource utilization. And when talking, I think this is the most important target for all of us, our world. So digitalization and digitization is one of the, how to say, workable solutions for decreasing CO2 that is emitted in the world. And the city accounts for 70% of CO2. In the city, you have both properties and transports taking more than half of the total CO2 in the world, and that's what we're trying to affect. There's been reports, McKinsey, for example, basically claiming that half of the power of IoT is lost because we have this setup with vertical services rather than system solutions and very poor interoperability and very poor usage of data. So our mission here is to move from 50% outcome of IoT up to 100%. Actually, I think it's even worse now with AI. If you are not in control of your data, if your data is all over the place in different service providers' hands, then the loss, I think, is even more because you cannot use it for AI, or at least not efficiently. You also asked about the company as such. We were, to be honest, heavily affected by the pandemic, where both cities and installers of our sensors were working from home, and that took a lot of our market. But we are now growing again. From a revenue of 3.2 million not Swedish, obviously not, 3.2 million euros last year. We are now targeting a little bit above 5 million euros in revenue. And we see a very strong boost going forward, partly because of our new sensors, partly because we are now combining our platform Yggio with sensors and addressing vertical needs with the horizontal platform, and that is very much in demand by customers to have both the combination. And as you can see, we have a really good portfolio of customers, both in Sweden as well as in North America. North America is actually 40% of our revenue. So it's a really strong foothold in the US. Team, I don't know how to do all that. We have a very senior management team and board. And then the team as such. Out of the 30 team members we have, it's almost or about 20 of them that are in development. So very R&D focused. Moving forward, we are now scaling up. So more and more resources will be brought in sales and customer success. Succeeding with projects with our customers. To be very clear, our platform is dedicated from start. When we started to develop our platform 2014, that was based upon let's do an Android for multi-dwelling buildings. And almost immediately afterwards, a year after, we started to say, okay, it has to be both the buildings as well as the city itself. And just as Android is really a thin platform with a clear API and so forth, we are doing the same thing. It's really back to the bone, an operating system with libraries that can be used by services. And doing our utmost to remain as this thin middleware that you can call an operating system or whatever, doesn't really matter. But leaving loads of room and market opportunities for our partners in this application or service domain. And I think this is an important differentiator compared to many of our competitors. We have been a middleware from start. We have not been, so to say, going from trying to do the whole service, blah, 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 and then adding an API and then trying to reposition us as a middleware. We are built as a middleware from start. And this is how it started, actually. This is a picture from Svenska Allmännyttan, whatever that is, Public Housing Association, blah, 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 something, that run a project called Bo IT, started up 2010. Where they positioned, well, actually they had been doing a lot of POCs. POCs are still was very popular then, and still very popular. Let's try to get rid of all the POCs and do things for real instead. Anyway, during those POCs, I realized that in order to do all the vertical services in a multi-dwelling building, it took a lot of resources, and I needed to have technique room, a room for technology in every apartment to get put in all the gateways and servers and everything that was needed, and multiple sensors for every function. So they decided they needed to have a different approach with some kind of open platform, and that was really the start for Project Yggio to work with Sabo at the time and Helsingborgshem and Växjöbostäder trying to develop this. And this is a good picture showing the ambition with Yggio. It's an operating system or also whatever, with the whole point of connecting everything in this digital domain, whether it's a city or a real estate company, doesn't matter. So a cohesive digitized world that is managed and controlled by our customer, the city itself or the real estate company. That means he controls the devices as well as the data, as well as access rights that he can now provide to different users and different service providers so that they get access to exactly the data and the things they need, but nothing else. This means that the customer is in control. He has, in Swedish, egen rådighet. He can now play the game. He can source the hardware he needs, the services he needs, and own the data and start using BI tools and AI tools to manage or get the value out of digitalization. Some words about us in Swedish, but the main point is own control. Egen rådighet is a better word in English. Of data, of the system as such, and the system then has to be modular and interoperable, and should be deployed, possible to deploy it anywhere, platform as a service, on-prem or hybrid edge cloud installations. And obviously, super important, both management of cost as well as to know that it's a secure solution, cyber secure and compliant to European standards, privacy and data acts and cloud acts and AI acts and all the different acts that are coming now. And we are very open, open license model, open source as much as possible, open standard APIs, open business models, etc., etc. And we are heavy on R&D. Our R&D budget is more than 10 million kronor per year. And we are very active in different European research projects. We are part of several living labs in Lund, the Doll Living Lab in Copenhagen, and so forth. We have been working and are working a lot with RISE and other universities and so forth within cybersecurity and resilience. We started to work with AI very early in the project already 2018, and has continued as such, and Håkan will show you more. And we have also been working with the digitalization of the city since, when did we do that first time? 2017, possibly. And still doing so more application oriented. And then I hand over to Håkan. Would you like to share, or should I continue with the presentation?
I think I need anyway to share there, but I think presentation, maybe you can continue. So then I go into the demo, right?
Yep.
So this page, normally this one is in English, now it's in Swedish here. But basically the platform is an agnostic platform. It has been specifically designed to be able to handle every type of protocol and any type of device. So that means that the software architecture is adapted to quickly do different type of integrations. What you then do is that you take in this data from the sensor, and then you transform the data or normalize the data. And when we talk about normalization, then we talk about normalization to the fireware standard, the ETSI-LD standard. So that is our internal data format inside the platform that we use. So we normalize everything to that data model, and then we do enrichment of that data. We can add different type of calculation, different type of aggregations, joining or splitting of data. Then we can add on rules and other items on it. And finally, that data can then be shared out, either in a raw format or in then its enriched format. So that is what we do. This is the main purpose of the platform. Take in data, normalize the data, enrich the data, and then share that data, either directly through the open APIs, you can pull the data, or in real time through different type of protocols like HTTP or MQTT. Then the platform is also multi-tenant, so you can have one user in it, or we can have up to tens of thousands of users. We did verify it with up to 10,000 users, but it do support a lot of different users. And then you can set up sharing policies. You can either like directly share data from user A to user B, or you create an organizational structure. And inside that structure, you set your sharing policies. You can automatically share data as you grow and add on sensors. You can be reliable that will follow your sharing policies. The platform's architecture is built upon something that's called zero trust. That means that everything, everywhere, always have a token with it. So every request is then checked versus the authentication engine to see that the user has access to use the data it is trying to use. And then if you share data, you only share access right to the data. So that means that once you remove access right, you can, the data will be completely gone from that other person. There will be no legacy, there will be no history, there will be nothing that needs to be deleted. It's just gone because access right to look at the data was removed. The platform also has a built-in rule engine. It is of the type IFTT, if this, then that. This is an advanced rule engine that you can use to create different type of rule chains with it. And you can also mix it with the built-in engine for artificial intelligence and machine learning to do really advanced stuff. Platform as such is based about 50% of open source and 50% about different type of components that we have developed ourselves, and then integrated everything to make it, ready from the shelf. So you can take it from the shelf, just, get going in a couple of minutes and you're up and running. Or you can, put it in your data center. That will take a slightly longer time, maybe a couple of hours, but then it will be up and running. So it is ready off the shelf. Everything is ready integrated. There's no need to spend any, consultancy hours or anything like that to get going. Then it also has an orchestrator. So that means you can horizontally scale the platform and vertically scale the platform. So you can scale the hardware, and you can also scale the horizontal through the orchestrator. As Mats said, we are a collaborative company. That means that we want to build an ecosystem. Even if we have been pushed to add more and more visualization into the platform by our customers, we still want to create, an ecosystem where some partners are then building different type of services on top of the platform, and other partners are delivering different type of hardware services or platform extension to it. So this is the key item of Yggio. I saw there was a question. Maybe I'm not sure. I think the question was about performance item. And I can, I think we need to discuss that further. I cannot answer that so fast here now. But let's go on. So next page, Mats. Here is a high-level schematic architecture of it. Basically, in the bottom of this page, you have different type of devices, sensors, actuators, what you now want to have. Then there is an integration layer, and there we have a different type of hardware decoders. That is then decoding the incoming hardware compressed data to something that the platform can handle. Then in the core, you have this fireware Ratatosk context broker. That is the message broker inside the platform. That is, handling all the data and then store the data in the two different data lakes that are there. One for structured data and one for time series data. And then we also have the enrichment with artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the rules engine, and some other components that can be used to enrich the data. On the right side here, you have the security. Basically, everything is encapsulated into this zero trust layer that we have. On top of that, you have a different type of API, like the fireware API and the Yggio API, and also different channels to in real time share data. And then on the top, we have different type of services. Let's move on, Mats. Next page.
Maybe here you can explain why we decided to write our own context broker instead of using the standard Orion.
Okay, I was planning that for later page, but we can take that. The reason is that Orion is written in C++. When we tested and verified Orion, we saw that it was not stable. That was one issue with it. The other issue is that it was totally without security. There is no security. It's open data, everything. There is no user management, anything inside it. So to be able to, modify Orion and add on security, that would be basically develop everything from scratch. So that is the two item, right? We saw a lot of different bugs. We saw it totally lacks security. So we saw we can use this for different type of open data, but we do not want that to power a platform that we have built to be secure with zero trust architecture. This is why we choose to develop our own context broker that is then called Ratatosk. That is then a fireware compliant, but secure and high performance context broker.
Maybe we can also say that Orion and the fireware context broker obviously works fine if you do a vertical where all users in the platform should have access, or at least are not such that it's dangerous to have a solution where we cannot guarantee that they do not get access. With our approach of the fully horizontal solution, we absolutely need to be sure that no one that do not have access will never get access. And then Orion didn't work.
That is correct. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. This is the core user interface of the platform. Basically, we focus on the left side here, you see user administration, add users, remove users, create organizations. The core part is still device management. If there's one item we want this platform to be number one in the world on, that is device management. Your ability to handle tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of devices and manage them in an efficient way to control that you don't, lose track of your devices or don't know where they are. So device management is the key part that we focus in when it comes to the user interface, to be able to find and search and find and add different devices and update devices into the system. Then we have a rule engine. So the rule engine is there and provide you the ability to create different type of rules. On the top right, we have a report engine. I would say the platform is second to none when it comes to report. We have a very powerful report engine that you can make nice reports. So if the data is inside the platform, you can make basically any type of report and the way you visualize that data. Bottom left, different type of APIs and the data that you take in, that you transform and manage into the platform. In the middle, we have a security. The platform integrates with like different type of IDPs based on Active Directory or SAML. That means that if you want to have the identity provider outside of Yggio, no problem at all. We just create a connector to that one, and then the IDP will provide all the users to the platform, and you only use the access engine in the platform to manage the authorization to the different devices. Locations, starting from multi-dwelling units, location and managed floor plan was a key focus. So there's a special component called the location manager to visualize buildings. And all this user interface we call the control panel. So this is the core user interface that we have. I will demonstrate that soon to you. Let's go on, next page.
Yeah, just to manage your time, I think you have 5 minutes before you should start demos.
Noted. Here we have a page that is like, sometimes I get the question like, why Yggio? What is separating Yggio from other platforms? Like, why should I go with Yggio? And like, basically it comes down to 5 things. One is this, that you own the data. You have your own ability to manage the data. We don't own the data. You own the data. You do with the data the way you want. And we normalize the data then to the fireware format. So everything is then in a standardized format when you get out of the platform. Then we have what we call a flow framework. Flow frame is what we use to enrich and calculate on the data. And with this, you can upload different type of decoders, different type of transformations through the API, and that means you can create really advanced use cases into the platform. So you can, join, split, aggregate data in real time. You can even extend the API with this. That means you can, improve your TTM by adding functionality. Without code changes. Then we have IDP integrations that you can integrate with the different type of IDPs. Finally, we have orchestrator, so you get the horizontal scaling. And then in the end, we have this proprietary technology that we call the access engine. That means that we can handle millions of devices into the platform with true access right sharing. Yeah, and then we have designed everything for UI design and for massive IoT with organization management, batch functionality, etc. System architecture. This is a more detailed picture than the previous one, but basically it tells you how the architecture is looking. Basically, we have Docker, Kubernetes in the bottom, and on the top we have Nginx as the HTTP proxy. Inside there, we put our own code plus then some different type of open source component that is, working as some core functionality into the platform, and we integrate all that into the platform. So one item can be mentioned here, for example, is that the AI/ML module that is really deeply integrated into the platform is running in the core of the platform. And we can also put up total redundant with it by running the database as replica set over different type of servers. So that is also feasible. Anytime we integrate any code, we do full CV scanning of everything to make sure we don't get any security issues into the platform. Okay, let's move on.
I have a question for you. How many code components are we using from Fireware?
Code components, we are not using actually any component from Fireware as is, but we are using their specifications. For example, the Fireware API specification, we have implemented them in Ratatosk. The Fireware data models we're using inside the platform, so they are there. So we're using the Fireware specifications, but we are not using any, Fireware component as it is off the shelf. That we are not doing. About edge integration, the platform is a distributed system, so you can connect one Yggio to another Yggio. In this example here, you can have like 5 Yggio edge that is then running on edge, doing automation in a building, and they can then forward data up to a cloud Yggio, where you then can aggregate and consolidate the data, and then you can apply them different type of applications on top of that. So this is about, edge integration. And in this edge Yggio, you can do like backnet integration, Modbus integration with the different real estate systems that you have.
Maybe we should clarify the benefit now of having an internal rule engine and internal AI. The benefit here when you look at this page is that you can be on the cloud. So having a centralized, so to say, administration of rules and AI models and do the training and etc. etc. And then you push it down to Yggio on edge. And the benefit then, obviously, is it's exactly the same software on edge as it is in the cloud, which means that all rules that worked in the cloud, when pushing them down to Yggio on edge, works 100% the same way. And you can push it to all of the different Yggio edges. And when you do software upgrades of Yggio, you do that on all the edge units as well as Yggio Cloud. So I think I haven't seen anyone, to be honest, I haven't seen anyone yet that have the same setup where the platform on edge and the platform in cloud is identical. All others use different solutions on edge compared to the cloud, which also means that the management and the maintenance and handling rules and AI and so forth is getting significantly more complicated. We, on the other side, have the complication of we have to develop Yggio in such a way that it executes as good as on the constrained edge as it does in cloud without the constraints.
That is correct. I can add on for the edge solutions, sometimes to remove components, since everything is built on microservices. We can just, if they don't need calculation service, we can just remove a calculation service. If they don't need the UI, maybe just need a REST APIs or something, we can just remove those components. That means that we can actually scale down the Yggio edge as well to be running in quite constrained devices. So that is feasible with the architecture that way. Okay, let's move on. I still feel those 5 minutes is almost gone.
Yes, actually
here is
exactly now.
Another example how we, exactly. This is just another example how you do the building integration then with edge Yggio running, doing its local stuff in the building, sending data up for MQTT, and then you have a cloud Yggio that is doing some other stuff. Basically tell the same picture as the other one, but a little bit more nice with some nice pictures how it could look. So I think we have one more page left, right? Or a few more pages. Going to smart homes. We focus then when it comes to this that we do think consumers want to use well-known brand to manage home automations. So what we're doing then is that we're integrating with these well-known brands like Homey, Hubitat, Seaway, and this type of thing, because then the user can get a level of support to manage the home automation that we cannot provide. So we're integrating with this different system, and that means that the platform can provide the functionality that this type of system are providing. So for example, the Hubitat integration is very popular, that you can run Z-Wave and Matter and Zigbee and different items on it. And it's also a connection, a system without a cloud service. That means that Yggio fits very well into the Hubitat ecosystem. AI, I think we maybe should hold after this one, but the platform has a built-in AI module. It's fully integrated with Yggio, and through this one, you can upload then arbitrary AI ML models with their data pipeline that is required. And we also have a query service there that you can that we can query a lot of different parallel models. So we have solved the problem to be able to scale AI in an IoT environment. And it took us, I think, 5 years of research before we found a way how to manage this type of item, and working a lot in this R&D project with different type of EU funding before we found a way how to be able to scale and manage this in a good way. But it is there, it is integrated, it is running right now. We also have a training service, so we can also train these AI models. So we prefer, of course, to be trained when they get integrated in platform, but if they are not, we have the ability to actually train them into the platform as well. And then we're working now, the next step we're doing is then to be able to manage this in a federated way, have a distributed federated learning model to be able to manage this AI. So when you have this, you can also use all the other functions in Yggio, like enrichment and calculations and stuff.
Maybe we should here also give the credit to your colleagues, Klaus Popp-Larsen, in RISE, because we've been developing this in a project called Distributed AI Systems, DICE, which is a huge European project with 50 different partners and, if I remember correctly, roughly 35 million euros in budget, where we are responsible for the distributed AI part together with RISE. So I think very much thanks to the support we have had from RISE in that project that we solved how to do this.
That is well given credit, Mats. So correct. Yes. Got a lot of help from RISE. Correct.
All right, maybe I should take this one. We also have in the lab up and running to connect ChatGPT to our database and have access control there as well, so that we can clearly control exactly what data ChatGPT have access to. And the intention is that should be the future instant dashboard for future, which you can just, I should say, you ask questions, you ask it to write it up the data, describe it or control or whatever. So I think AI on top of a platform like Yggio will be absolutely marvelous in the next couple of years. Okay, Torbjörn, I think now we should move over to Håkan and the demo. So I'll stop sharing right now, and you figure out how to do put Håkan in charge.
Yeah. Håkan is able to share, so he should be able to go. Thank you very much for this presentation. Looking forward to see things as well.
I'm not sure about the timing, but we had 1 hour, so we should have 20 minutes left. Is that correct, Torbjörn?
Yes, you have actually a little bit more than 20. We started actually some minutes late, so 20 minutes plus you have.
Okay.
Okay. What are you guys seeing now? Are you seeing Yggio, public Yggio.net?
Yes.
Okay, then it's very unclear what I'm sharing, but I guess I'm sharing this screen. Okay, Yggio. So let's have a demonstration. This demonstration is running on our cloud server. So this is a server that is handling thousands of messages every second as we speak here now. So now when I've spoken this sentence, the platform has managed probably another 10 or 20,000 messages. So what you're looking at now is not Yggio. This is the user interface to Yggio, the web interface that we have to Yggio. And this is one of our demo accounts that we have here. This is a dashboard that you can actually drag and drop different things here the way you want. This one we call the Yggio default dashboard. It tells you a little bit about the system account that I'm looking at. For example, it gives the number of devices on it. It gives the number of locations that I have, the number of organizations I have, the number of rules that has been set up, how many third-party application that has been integrated. It also gives you a map about the different devices that you have, and it also have a log. The log is a type audit log, so basically everything that is changed out of important things like access right and stuff that is logged into the log, and you can also create customized logs so you can have full control and full traceability of what is happening inside the platform. So for now, let's start by looking at the device list. This is the device management platform. So this is what we want the platform to be, basically number one in the world. That's what our target. And this consists of totally customizable different views to be able to find and search for the different devices that you want to manage. It also contains functionality to easily, add either one device or many different type of devices at once. So we can start by just looking at that. So if I want to add devices, I click new device. And then I can either add them one by one, or I can then batch in them. And we did verify to batch in 1 million devices into the platform. So that has been done. Basically, we then put in a batch CSV file with 1 million devices, and then we just add it here. And then we let the platform work. And then a couple of hours later, everything was installed. So this is
Sorry, Håkan. Does that mean installed also with the LoRaWAN network, or do you need to go into a LoRaWAN network?
Not LoRaWAN devices. This was generic devices.
Okay.
Otherwise, we would run into trouble, I think. But yeah. So these were generic devices that we had approved this one. And then there is some instruction what to put in a file. So basically, it just comes with the standard items that you need to put into the file that the system need to handle if each different type of device. And if you go to instead go to the single mode, then you can select different type of device type and different type of connectors that you can create and add into the system. We always have like guides when you when you add the devices, so that you can like select. Now I don't have any LoRa stuff in this account, but otherwise we just need to, every integration has their required data. So we just, give the user the ability to enter that data and then follow the guide up there. And then once you're done, the devices will be added. And then you can restart and do the next one. And if you do that with a batch install instead, then it's the same information, but you put that into a CSV file, and then you can mass install a lot of devices instead.
Same question here then. Do you need to go into the LoRaWAN network server user interface as well to join a device?
No, Yggio automates everything. So once you use Yggio, there's no need to basically ever go into your LoRaWAN server again. So Yggio manage the LoRaWAN server for you. So it is just there to provide, the LoRaWAN connectivity. So it's just, one interface to manage your total device management. That is the key aspect of what we're driving development on Yggio on. Not so you don't need to, manage that system and that system and that system. That would go, against the horizontal approach to have one interface for device management.
And there's a question from Patrick. Does it include also a joint server for LoRa?
You can go with a joint server in LoRa, so the answer is yes. We have customers that have separate joint servers as well, so the answer is yes.
So both options are available?
Yeah, they are. So let's say now you add your devices into the system, then they get into here. And when we look at this, we can see that this is real-time data, updated 15 seconds ago, 17 seconds ago. So all the data here is real-time. These views are totally customizable. So for example, here I can select a grid, humidity. You see here is a custom query. Basically, it will show every device that has the field relative humidity, and then it will visualize that data on the devices that fulfill that. Or I can go like temperature, then I get the same data, but then on temperature instead. Here is also one of a strong item. Maybe I just want to see the one with temperature more than 15 degrees, and I just type more than 15. And then this is the Fireware Q query. Fireware has one incredibly good thing that we think, and that is the Q query language. So Yggio totally support the Q query language. That means that you can search for any type of, deviation as you want to do. So even if you have 10,000 devices, we have highly optimized this Q query search language, so you can quickly find exactly the devices that is, fulfilling your criteria. Be it like this, I want to find everything with temperature more than 15 degrees, more than 20 degrees, what I now want to find. So this Q query, I think, is really strong and very well done by Fireware. Here we have some consumption nodes, like energy and water consumption. What's interesting here is that if I go into one of these nodes, then we can look at the chart, the graph of that one. For example, I want to know the energy consumption, and we can see that this is a standard energy consumption that is just increasing all the time. But maybe I'm not interested in just seeing, okay, here it was this value, now it's this. I want to know, okay, how much energy do I use maybe every 1 day? And I just select resolution, 1 day, I go calculation, difference. Now I have energy consumption per day. Okay, I don't want to know that per day, I want to know that per month. Then I go 30 days instead. And I immediately get then the energy consumption per day. So this the platform can do. It can in real time then recalculate your data to show you what you really want to see from your data. Okay. Another item is that maybe I want to monitor that I don't get any sudden peaks in energy consumption. Here we have another concept. This is the translator. This is what I talked about, the flow framework, that I can, through the API, upload any type of transformation to the platform. So here we upload a transformation that basically check, do my energy consumption change fast? If yes, set an alarm, and then I can have a rule engine react to that alarm and tell me, hey, something has happened with your energy consumption. It suddenly increased much faster than what was expected. So this type of algorithm can just write and then just upload through the API and then add to the devices that you want to have this type of analysis on. And all that data, of course, you have it here. If it's in here, then you can later take out that into the different type of reporting. Yggio is also more than just visualization and do it. Yggio can also control actuators. Here we have some engines. I have a power level of those engines, and I have some engine speed. Now I can change that engine speed. For example, let's say I want to put this one down to 25%. I push it, the power level of engine goes down, the engine starts to ramp down. So I sent a command to an engine to decrease the power, and then the engine starts to ramp down, and we can see in real time how the engine is now, going down with its power. Same here, if I just want to increase the other one, I can just, increase it, and I have command buttons that is powered by the rule engine that can then create commands that is tailored for that engine and send it to them, and I can control those engines. Metadata. The platform support to add unlimited number of metadata per node that we have in the system. This is just a very simple example where we added some location and address and floor level. And of course, the Q query, when you search and filter on different data, of course, you can search on the metadata as well. So just to include that into the Q query if you want to use like filters based on different type of metadata. So yeah, basically unlimited amount of metadata can be added to the different devices. We do have some interesting, can look at the seat occupancy. Here we have some seat occupancy. So yeah, this is how you can visualize it. Our sensors, this is our sensitive presence sensors. We also provide temperature. So that means that you can actually, basically you can detect if someone is actually sitting there, because once a person is sit down at the seat, the temperature will actually increase a little bit. So that means that with a presence sensor, we can also detect that people are actually sitting there and working, not just based on the IR reflection that the sensor is detecting, but also based on that the temperature is actually increasing a bit. I do think you get this with the different views, that we can create views on basically anything. So this is the weather. So in Lund today, 15.6 degree, 61% humidity, air pressure. Sorry, I don't have anything about Stockholm here, but yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, we do have some other, but you can basically visualize and color code anything what you want, and then you can just create a custom query and search the deviation that you would like to do. Then we have a map. So everything I showed you on the list, you can also do on a map. We do have some trackers. So here we have trackers. So I need to admit, this is a simulation, but the simulation is built upon our sensitive trackers. I do not have 5 guys running around in our office right now, so I simulated this data. But this is giving same information as our square tracker Extreme is doing, that we're doing in different type of use cases. But you can also see here that the map is also real-time updated. So as soon as something is moving in reality, it's also moving in the map. You can also color code. So in this case, we have a color coding that if they drive more than 50 kilometers per hour, it becomes red. If they are between 30 and 50, I think, then it's yellow. Below 30, it's green. And if you really slow below, I think 15 kilometers per hour, then it becomes blue. And you see the speed and the heading next to the different icons here. So this is, from a sensor point of view, this is a simulation, but from Yggio point of view, this is a real way that Yggio will visualize this type of data.
And here you can have geofencing and these kind of things as well, right?
It is correct that we do support geofences, so you can check if they are, outside of a bounds and stuff, and you can also have overlays where you can actually visualize the geofences as well. So the answer is yes, we have that as well. Signal strength. Maybe if you're working with, you want, LoRaWAN and other thing, getting good coverage is one of the critical item. Yeah, so with this type of color coding of a map, you can quite easy and fast create, a coverage graph and coverage of your different devices, the type of signal strength you have. So yeah, so you can do a lot of this. So just as in the device list, you can then, just, modify your different type of values that you want to show on the data here. Can speak a little bit about organizations. So in this account, we added one organization. And what's interesting here is that you can create this type of structure. And the way it works is that if you are in sales and marketing, by default, you can only see what's inside sales and marketing. You cannot see what's in operation or in R&D. But if you're on the top level here, then you can see everything in these 3 different tiers. You have a structured way to inherit things upwards in the hierarchy. And this will work automatically. You just set it up and you use it, and then done. Then when you add the devices, it will follow your policy. So you don't need to manage this for every device again and again and again and again. Just set it up, install the devices in the right place, give them the rights from the beginning, and it will follow the sharing policies. This is how the organization manager is working, and basically you can create a limited amount of organizations. Applications. Here we have some applications like the rule engine. So rules is working in combination with what we call the translators that I showed you previously. I go to our staging server. It becomes a little bit easier to see that. So let me reset this one. Let me go to this node here. This is a LoRaWAN device. On this one, I have 7 translators. So I can, chain the different translators, and every translator can have their logic and do things. On this one, for example, here, I have a calculating the frame loss rate from the LoRaWAN network. I'm supervising temperature alarms. And this settings then to check like the temperature alarm of the battery, that is then stored inside this node. So I have the alarm levels here. What I then need to do is that I just need to connect this node to a rule. So it is enough to have one rule to manage all temperature supervisions in the complete system. And every temperature supervision can have an individual hysteresis, individual alarm level for every single device. And I can change those on the device without having to manage the rule. It is our experience that a lot of people find the rules to be difficult to manage because it's real-time programming. If you really put it hard, you need to think like real-time. If this happened, then do that. It quite fast can become complex for the normal users. So that's why we worked hard to find a way to decrease the complexity of how do you create easy and scalable rules. And this is the way we do it. So basically, you just create one rule, add the sensor, check is there a temperature alarm, and then in that case, send them a notification. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. You just create one rule, add the sensor, and then it will automatically check. And also, now when I anyway look here, you can see here we have general timer, for example. This is developed with a purpose. Let's say a door is open, but you need to make sure that that door is closed again because it's an outdoor door. You expect it to open, someone go in, and then it should close. Here we have a timer functionality that if that door is open and it's not closed within, let's say, X minutes, then the system will send an alarm. Let's say that that door was not closed. If the door is closed, then the timer will be reset. And this we can scale. So we have a translator that implements timer functionality. So you can actually do then, large-scale timer-based rules that if door open, not closed within X minutes, send alarm. I mean, you can apply that to tens of thousands of doors. So the system will then manage, tens of thousands different timers, one timer for every individual door, and it will do that in a scalable way. Or we have another example. Here we have a mold risk. So we develop a translator to manage mold risk. If you have a temperature and humidity, then you can check mold risk because it's just a formula based on those two. So we just developed a translator, uploaded that, and now it's so easy to just check if you have a mold risk in your real estates.
And what happened then, Håkan, is that the output from that translator becomes what we call a virtual data node.
Correct.
A data node that the platform as such have, so to say, established.
That is correct, yes. Okay, so that's about rules and threshold. We come here by going into this page here. Here we also have a location manager. Location manager is our tool to visualize different type of buildings. For example, here we have our office, and then I can go to like our floor plan. So this is a typical upload a floor plan. You put on the sensors, you show the values of the sensor, and they will in real time then update and show the different values of the different places here. So here we have, for example, seat occupancy sensors, water leakage sensors, energy consumption sensors, trash bin sensors, meeting room occupied or available, and the temperature sensors. And this, of course, also is scalable. If you want more, we can just add new blueprint, add new floors, so add more locations to it. So this is a location manager that is a specific tool developed to manage visualizations in different buildings.
Could you show how easy it is to add a new device in that floor plan?
Of course. I think we can do that here. So basically, I just push a little, sorry, not that pen. This one I should push, and then I just add a device here. And then it comes out here, and then I can just drag and drop that one. Just drag it around like this. So drag and drop. Drag and drop is good. We have some other tools here. We have a device updater that is focused on manage, the physical installation efficient. So with this application, it is meant for the guy doing installation. We do know that the large cost maybe is not actually buying the sensor, but actually get the sensor installed. So to be able to, manage a quick and efficient installation, that is vitally important. So we develop a specific application just to manage that item. That is, that you run on your mobile phone, installation guy have it, and it will check if the device is like joining and that it's working as it should as well. And we will also be able to force the user here to add some specific data, that you can control what type of data that can be entered into this application. We have device tags interpreter. This automatically import building tags, and then it automatically guesses, what these different tags are. So it has accuracy of about 80%. That still decreases the work to do the building automation dramatically compared with if you would do all that work manually. And then we have some other application. Grafana is there. We have Node-RED, CityGrid for smart street lighting. We have Curly for QR codes, Terminio. We have cooperation with Danfoss for energy optimization. Power BI, we have a very nice Power BI connector that, in 5 minutes, you can take data from Yggio and get into Power BI and create this type of nice graph. So it's all there, just ready to go. Just, install Power BI, install the connector, and you're ready to go. And then we have the next guy that is coming here, Miso. So we have integration with his tool as well. So he will show you this later, the smart visualizer for the digital twin models. We also have cooperation with a company here in Malmö called Noodle that is making low-code application. We do think this is a fantastic tool. You can develop customized application in much, much faster than writing this in React Native. So it's really a powerful tool, we think. I think we can have a slight look at the Grafana integration as well. I just go in here and we do this. So here we have a Grafana. So that's how it is. And the key item here is that Grafana is now using data from Yggio. It means my data is still in Yggio. I have not copied the data to some other place. I still have control of my data. The second I start copying my data, I lose control of it. So Grafana is accessing the data from the Yggio data repository. That means that if I would like to revoke access to Grafana, I can just cut it and then Grafana out of data. So, but Grafana is a very powerful tool and can make great visualizations with Grafana. Finally, reporting. So you can do different type of report. For example, here we have an invoice report that you can do. Let's say we do a metering report of 1 week. So the platform has a built-in Excel engine. So inside the platform, we have an Excel engine. So this will then basically take data from it, put it into this Excel engine and generate an Excel sheet. And I guess everyone knows Excel. So that means it's fast and easy to make very nice reports. For example, here we have a energy consumption report that I have customers using this to invoice their customers. If you want instead to do like connectivity, here we can have a connectivity report. So what I do now is that I go out and check RCSI and SNR levels of the sensors that it has access to, and then it will populate that into an Excel sheet. And once you're into Excel, then you can immediately export it to PDF and other tools as well. Same with Power BI. Of course, you can use Power BI to generate your reports as well. Here we go. Okay, and here we had a little issue, I saw. So maybe it's something took too long time. We can try that.
Your time is about to run out, Håkan.
Yeah, the time is running out, yeah. So, and I'm done anyway. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Håkan. Very good presentation.
Maybe Håkan, you can describe the project where we implemented this reporting and the purpose of the reporting for them.
Okay. So this, we won a commercial project for logistic handling in an airport. And they had very, very strict requirement on the reporting. They basically need to prove that every single full hour, that during that last 1 hour, they had to have X number of assets in 140 places in the airport. So at every full hour, they should have had at least X number of assets in each and every one of all those locations. And to be able to manage that, we realized that this is an advanced report. You have 31 days in a month, 31 days, and you have like 24 hours a day. That means 24 hours times 31 days, 140 locations. And then we have several thousands of assets that is going in and out of these different areas. So that's what we did. So the foundation was that we need to manage that use case. They need to track it every single full hour. We need to know, and they need to prove that for the airport authority that they have fulfilled their SLA. So that's how we start to develop this engine to be able to meet that requirement. So the engine can handle ridiculously amount of large data that you can put into here and then crunch that data, put it into Excel, and then we use Excel engine to generate this type of reports.
Last, Torbjörn, there was a question from Patrick regarding performance and Fireware Orion context broker.
Exactly.
Should we try to answer that, Håkan?
I cannot really speak for the Fireware stuff. What I can speak for is our own stuff, right? So I know Fireware has a much easier, to solve than what we have because they have no access right. So it's not really a fair comparison to compare a system with no access right, just straight into the database. They do some data transformation into the Fireware format and then they just put it into the MongoDB. We apply access right on everything all the time and check, zero trust architecture, check the validation all the time. But I do know that we can handle thousands or tens of thousands of messages per second coming in. And we can do that with then this zero trust architecture and we verified our system with up to 1 million devices. I don't know what Orion can manage, but I doubt it could manage that.
Then there is a question from Patrick. What do you mean with access? Orion are using JWT and HTTPS.
So when we checked Orion, if you go in and download the official Orion broker, as it is, you will not have access right into that one. Maybe if you add some external component in front of it, maybe there is someone that has done that in the fireware community as of now.
So basically access, what you really mean is a framework, or whatever I should call it, that is securing that anyone that tries to access data really have the access rights.
I'm talking about access rights, yes, that you can have like 10,000 different accounts, and that every account has access to their devices and no one else. That we have that granularity, exactly. And when we have checked Orion context broker, it does not have that level. Maybe you can protect it, that have access to it, but we have not dig deeper into that. I'm sure the fireware community is evolving as well.
Patrick, I'm not sure if you're satisfied with the question. Otherwise, you can connect to us afterwards. We have been in numerous amount of discussions with this regarding this with former fireware CTO, but we have different opinions about how to handle access management, and so they did not solve our problem.
Yeah. So and we are more people that are interested in hearing the results of such a discussion, but we don't have more time right now. So thank you again for your presentation. Great. And I will now share my slide again, because now we would like everyone to actually, while we have a break, to fill in this short survey about this presentation. So use your cameras, take a photo of this, and after that we will have a break. We take about 5 minutes break, so 2:30 we are back again.